Ambreena Manji's book isn't just about dirt and deeds, it's about people. It's about power. It's about the intricate web of relationships that define a nation. It's about a wound on Kenya's soul, carved deep by history, a wound that still bleeds today. Manji takes us on a journey from the time before colonists arrived to the modern fight for fairness. She delves into the complexities of land ownership and the struggles that have shaped Kenya's past and present. She shows us why land is more than just property in Kenya. It's a symbol of heritage, a source of sustenance, and a cornerstone of community. It's life, it's identity, it's tied to ancestors and hopes for the future. The land carries the stories of generations, the dreams of those who came before, and the aspirations of those yet to come. This book isn't an easy read. It's a deep dive into the legal and social intricacies that govern land rights. It's packed with details, laws, and court cases. Each page reveals the layers of bureaucracy and the battles fought in courtrooms. But Manji writes with clarity and passion. Her words cut through the complexity, making the issues accessible and urgent. She makes you feel the urgency of the problem, the tension in the air, the desperation in the voices of those affected. She introduces us to the farmers kicked off their land, the communities torn apart, the families left in limbo, the activists risking everything for justice. Their stories are a testament to resilience and the unyielding human spirit. Most importantly, she shows us that this fight isn't over. The struggle continues and the outcome is still uncertain. It's a story still being written, and we all have a role to play. Whether through awareness, advocacy, or action, we can contribute to a fairer future for Kenya. Before the British came, land in Kenya wasn't something you owned, it was something you belonged to. Different communities had their own ways of sharing and using the land. They respected its rhythms, its seasons, its ability to provide. Land was the foundation of their cultures, their spirituality, their very existence. Pastoralists like the Maasai moved their herds across vast distances, following the rains and the grazing. Farmers cultivated the fertile soils, growing crops to sustain their families and communities. Land was a shared resource, carefully managed to ensure its bounty for generations to come. There were disputes, yes, but they were resolved through customary laws and traditions, maintaining a balance that colonialism would shatter. The arrival of British colonists in the late 19th century marked a turning point in Kenya's history, a tragedy that continues to cast a long shadow. The British saw land through a different lens, as a commodity to be owned, exploited, and profited from. They carved up the land, drawing lines on maps that ignored ancestral claims and traditional boundaries. The fertile highlands, deemed most suitable for European settlement, were declared Crown land, forcibly taken from the communities who had lived there for centuries. Africans were pushed onto reserves, often on less fertile land, their movements restricted, their livelihoods disrupted. This dispossession, this theft of land, was the foundation upon which colonial rule was built. It created a system of inequality and injustice that continues to plague Kenya today. The fight for independence in Kenya was in many ways a fight for land. The land was not just a resource, it was a symbol of freedom, identity, and self-sufficiency. For decades, Kenyans had been dispossessed of their ancestral lands by colonial powers, leading to widespread poverty and disenfranchisement. People yearned for the return of what had been stolen, for the chance to rebuild their lives on their own terms. The land represented hope and the possibility of a better future, where they could cultivate their own food, build homes, and create thriving communities. But when independence finally came in 1963, it brought with it a new set of challenges. The euphoria of freedom was soon overshadowed by the harsh realities of governance and the complexities of land redistribution. While some land was redistributed, much of it ended up in the hands of the new African elite. The promises made to the masses were broken, as the new leaders prioritized their own interests over those of the people. Politicians, businessmen, and those connected to power used their influence to amass large tracts of land, often through corrupt means. The dream of equitable land distribution was marred by greed and nepotism, as the powerful few enriched themselves at the expense of the many. The vast majority of Kenyans, those who had been dispossessed by colonialism, remained landless or with inadequate land to support themselves. The struggle for survival continued as families grappled with poverty, food insecurity, and lack of opportunities. The cycle of inequality continued, fueled by greed and a lack of political will to address the root causes of land injustice. Activists and ordinary citizens alike took to the streets demanding justice and fair distribution of land, yet the grip of the elites remained strong, perpetuating a legacy of broken promises and unfulfilled dreams. Section 5. The 2010 Constitution, a glimmer of hope, but shadows remain. The year 2010 brought a flicker of hope. Kenya adopted a new constitution, hailed as a progressive document that promised to address historical injustices, including land issues. It enshrined the right to land, recognized community land rights, and established institutions like the National Land Commission to resolve disputes and ensure equitable access to land. However, Manji argues that the 2010 Constitution, while a step in the right direction, has not been a magic bullet. Implementation has been slow and often hampered by resistance from powerful interests. Corruption persists, land grabbing continues, and the gap between the law and the reality on the ground remains vast. The fight for land justice is far from over. Section 6. The fight goes on. Manji's call to action for land justice. In this section, we delve into the heart of the ongoing struggle for land justice in Kenya, a fight that has been waged for generations. Manji doesn't leave us with a sense of despair. Instead, she offers a beacon of hope and a rallying cry for all those who believe in justice and equality. Instead, she issues a call to action. She emphasizes that every individual has a role to play in this monumental struggle. She reminds us that the struggle for land justice is not just about laws and policies, it's about people. It's about the farmers who toil the land, the communities that depend on it, and the future generations who will inherit it. It's about demanding accountability from those in power, ensuring that they do not exploit their positions for personal gain at the expense of the common people. Supporting grassroots organizations fighting for land rights is crucial. These organizations are often the first line of defense for communities facing land grabs and other injustices, and amplifying the voices of those who have been silenced for too long. These are the voices of the marginalized, the oppressed, and the forgotten. She urges us to educate ourselves about the complexities of land issues in Kenya. Understanding the historical and socio-economic factors at play is essential for meaningful advocacy. To challenge our own assumptions, to question the narratives we have been fed, and to seek out the truth, and to use our voices and resources to advocate for change. Whether through social media, public speaking, or grassroots organizing, every effort counts. This is not just a Kenyan issue, Manji argues, but a global one. Land injustice affects communities worldwide, and the fight for land rights in Kenya is part of a larger struggle for global justice. Land injustice is a symptom of deeper systemic problems of inequality, discrimination, and the concentration of power in the hands of a few. By addressing land issues, we can begin to tackle these broader systemic challenges and move towards a more just and equitable world. Section 7. Beyond Kenya's borders, land, power, and the global struggle. Manji skillfully connects the dots between Kenya's land struggles and broader global trends. The forces that drive land grabbing in Kenya, globalization, agribusiness, extractive industries, are the same forces at play in many other parts of the world, particularly in the global south. From the soybean plantations gobbling up land in the Amazon to the mining companies displacing communities in Southeast Asia, the struggle for land is a global one. By understanding the root causes of land injustice in Kenya, we can begin to understand and address similar challenges faced by communities worldwide. Section 8. Why this matters to you, land rights and the future we build. You might be thinking, why should I care about land issues in Kenya? I don't even live there. But here's the thing, land rights are human rights. The fight for land justice is intrinsically linked to the fight for social justice, economic justice, and environmental justice. When people are denied access to land, it affects their livelihoods, their food security, their ability to thrive. It creates instability, conflict, and displacement. In a world facing climate change and growing inequality, ensuring secure and equitable access to land is more important than ever. Section 9. Ambreena Manji, giving voice to the voiceless. Ambreena Manji is more than just an author. She's a scholar, an activist, and a voice for the voiceless. Through her meticulous research and passionate writing, she brings to light the human stories behind the statistics and legal jargon. Her work is a testament to the power of scholarship to inform, inspire, and ignite change. She challenges us to see the world through the eyes of those most affected by land injustice and to join the fight for a more just and equitable future. Section 10. Pick up the book. Your journey starts now. This essay is just a glimpse into the complex and compelling world that Ambreena Manji unveils in. To truly understand the depth and urgency of this issue, you need to read the book. Let Manji be your guide as you delve into the history, the laws, and the human stories that shape the ongoing struggle for land justice in Kenya and beyond. Pick up the book, start reading, and join the conversation. The future of land, and with it, the future of humanity, depends on it.